The loudest whisper in Class 2B. Class 2B was full of noise. There were giggles, taps, squeaky shoes, and lots of talking. Chairs scraped the floor. Pencils dropped. Someone always shouted, "I need a glue stick." Miss Penny, the teacher, smiled kindly and said, "Inside voices, please." But Class 2B didn't stay quiet for long. Everyone had something to say. Lucas talked about dinosaurs. Ruby sang silly songs. Tyler made spaceship sounds with his mouth. Pew, pew. But one person hardly ever made a sound. Her name was Amira. Amira sat near the window. She had shiny braids and gentle eyes. She didn't shout. She didn't sing. She didn't even raise her hand often. Sometimes Miss Penny would ask, "Amira, do you know the answer?" And Amira would nod. She'd whisper her answer so soft that the teacher had to lean in to hear. "Yes," Amira would say, just above a breath. "The answer is 12. Some kids whispered too, but they still laughed and joked with their friends. Not Amira. Some children said, "Amira is too quiet. She's shy. She never talks." But what they didn't know was this. Amira listened. She noticed little things. She saw when someone dropped a pencil. She saw when someone looked sad. She heard every word the teacher sighed, even the quiet ones. Amira watched the sky outside when others looked at the board. She heard birds, the wind, and even the school bell before it rang. While others spoke loudly, Amira watched. She listened. She noticed what others missed. And one day soon, that would matter more than anyone ever guessed. One sunny morning, Miss Penny clapped her hands. "Class 2B, she said with a big smile, "we're starting something special today." The room got very quiet just for a second. Then she said, "You'll work in groups to build something that helps our school." Right away, the room exploded with sound. "Let's make a robot that cleans the classroom." "Let's build a snack machine." No, rainbow garden." "I want to build a rocket slide." Miss Penny laughed. "Great ideas, everyone, but remember, you'll have to work together." She showed a chart with the groups. Everyone looked for their names. Amira checked the board quietly. She was in a group with Lucas, Ruby, and Tyler. They were loud and full of big ideas. They sat in a circle with paper and crayons. "I'm drawing a robot," said Lucas. "It needs laser arms," said Ruby. "We can use cardboard and wires," shouted Tyler. Amira held her pencil softly. She looked at the noisy class. She looked at the messy corner near the bookshelf. It had books piled high and no comfy place to sit. She leaned forward and whispered, "Maybe we can build a quiet corner with pillows and books." No one looked at her. No one heard her whisper. Lucas talked over her. "No, a robot is way cooler," Ruby laughed. "Let's add buttons that talk." Amira tried again, just a little louder. A quiet corner might help when someone feels sad or tired. But they were already drawing rockets and wires. No one listened. Amira sat back in her chair. She held her pencil tightly. She looked at the bookshelf again. Then she gave a small frown. She wanted to help. She had an idea, a good one, but no one heard her. So she said nothing. For now. 3 days later, Class 2B was busy with their school project. Scissors snipped, tape rolled, voices filled the room. "Where's the silver paper?" "Pass the glue." "Don't use all the string." Then suddenly, Miss Penny stood up. She looked around the classroom. Her eyes went to the supply shelf. The box of special materials was gone. It had glitter, buttons, shiny card, and little wheels. Things everyone needed. Miss Penny's face looked puzzled. "Class," she said, "did anyone move the supply box?" The room got quiet for a second, then the noise came back. "Wait, what? It's missing? Did someone take it? Who had it last?" Voices got louder. Kids stood up and looked around. Lucas checked under a table. Ruby peeked behind a cupboard. Tyler pointed. "Maybe it was stolen." "No one would steal it," said another kid. "It must be lost." The classroom got louder and louder. So many voices, so many guesses. Miss Penny raised her hands. "Class, please! Listen carefully," she said. "If we don't find the materials, we may have to stop the project." Everyone gasped. "No project?" "No," said Lucas. "We worked so hard," said Ruby. Amira sat quietly in her chair. She looked at the shelf. She looked at the noisy room. She bit her lip. Then she looked down at her shoes. She remembered something. 2 days ago, after lunch, she had been sitting near the reading corner. It was quiet. Everyone else was outside. She had heard soft footsteps, someone walking, someone opening a cupboard, then a small voice saying, "Maybe this will help fix it." She had forgotten about it until now. Her eyes opened wide. She knew something. She knew what the others didn't. Amira took a deep breath. Should she say something? She looked around. The class kept shouting and guessing. And Amira got ready to whisper something important. Amira sat in her chair. Her heart felt fast. Her hands were shaking a little. The room was still full of noise. "Where is the box? I bet someone hid it. This is so unfair." Amira looked at the teacher, then at the class, then at the reading corner. She took a deep breath. Then she stood up. No one noticed at first. Amira opened her mouth. Her voice came out soft and small. "I saw someone take the box." Nobody heard her. She tried again, a tiny bit louder. "I think someone took the box to fix something." Lucas turned around. "Wait, who said that?" Miss Penny looked at Amira. She walked over gently. "Amira?" she said kindly. "What did you say, dear?" Amira looked up. She took another deep breath. Her face was warm, but she didn't sit down. "I saw someone take the box," she said. "I was reading after lunch, and I saw a student take it. They looked worried. I think they were trying to fix something. Maybe the shelf." The room went quiet, really quiet. No one talked. No one moved. Amira looked around. She had everyone's attention now. Miss Penny gave her a soft smile. "Thank you, Amira," she said. "Let's check the reading corner." Everyone walked over. Miss Penny bent down. She looked behind the shelf. There it was, the missing box. The tape, glitter, buttons, and card were all inside. Next to it, a shelf had been taped back together. "It looks like someone was trying to fix this," Miss Penny said. The class clapped and cheered. Lucas shouted, "Amira saved the project." "Yeah," said Ruby. "She found the clue." Tyler grinned. "You're like a secret detective." Amira smiled just a little. She sat down quietly. Her heart still felt fast, but now it felt proud too. She had spoken up, and everyone had listened. The box was found, the project was saved, Class 2B was happy again. Everyone smiled and talked, this time with joy. Miss Penny looked at Amira. She walked over and knelt beside her desk. With a warm smile, she said, "Even a small voice can say something very important." Amira's cheeks turned pink. She looked down for a second. Then she smiled. A real, proud smile. Miss Penny patted her shoulder. "Thank you for speaking up," she said softly. "You helped the whole class." Lucas, Ruby, and Tyler came over. They didn't laugh or shout. They looked at Amira with kind eyes. "You were right about the shelf," said Ruby. "We didn't listen before. Sorry about that." "Yeah," said Lucas. "We were too loud." Tyler scratched his head. "Didn't you say something about a quiet corner?" Amira nodded. "That's a really good idea," said Ruby. "Sometimes I do want a calm place." "Same," said Lucas. "When my head feels full, I want quiet." Amira looked surprised. You really like the idea?" The group all nodded. Tyler smiled. "Let's build the quiet corner, with books, and soft pillows. And maybe soft lights too," added Ruby. Amira's smile grew bigger. For the first time, she felt heard. Not just seen, but really heard. The group sat on the floor together. They got paper, crayons, and tape. They started planning. Amira drew a corner with clouds on the wall. Lucas drew a beanbag. Ruby wrote "Quiet Time Zone" on a little sign. They shared ideas. They listened. They worked like a team. Miss Penny watched from her desk. She smiled to herself. Something special had happened today. Not just because the box was found, but because one quiet voice had changed everything. The big day finally came. It was project day in Class 2B. Parents, teachers, and other students came to visit. Everyone walked around the room to see what the groups had built. There were so many fun things. One group made a robot that waved its arms. Another made a tall tower of books with a reading light. One team even made a pretend snack machine from cardboard. There were sounds of clapping, cheering, and happy voices. But in one calm corner of the room, something different waited. It was soft. It was quiet. It was gentle. It was Amira's group project, The Quiet Corner. There was a small sign that said, "Welcome to the Quiet Corner." The space had soft pillows. There were calm blue and green colors. A little basket held storybooks. A soft mat was on the floor. There were no buttons, no flashing lights, no loud noises, just peace. When it was their turn to present, Ruby smiled and said, "This is a place to rest when you feel tired or need a break." Tyler added, "Sometimes your brain needs quiet too." Lucas said, "We didn't get it at first, but Amira had this idea and now we love it." Everyone turned to Amira. She stood beside the corner with her hands behind her back. A classmate whispered, "Sometimes quiet things are the best things." Amira smiled. She gave a little giggle. It was a small sound, but it was full of joy. People nodded. Some even sat in the quiet corner to try it out. They smiled too. Miss Penny clapped gently. "Well done, team," she said. "This is a gift for everyone." Amira didn't need to shout. She didn't need to wave her arms or jump up and down. Her voice was calm. Her idea was kind. And today, her quiet voice felt very loud in the best way. The classroom was quiet again. Project day had ended. Visitors had gone home. Students were packing their bags. Amira sat on the floor of the quiet corner. She looked around the calm space she helped build. Pillows were in place. Books were back in the basket. The little mat was smooth and flat. She smiled softly. Today had been a good day. Just then, Miss Penny walked over. She was holding a small sign. She hung it on the wall inside the quiet corner. Amira stood up and read it. The sign said, "Inspired by the loudest whisper in Class 2B." Amira's eyes widened. She touched the sign gently with her fingers. Her heart felt warm and light. She didn't say anything out loud. She just smiled, because she knew what it meant. She didn't have to be loud to be heard. She didn't have to shout to share a good idea. She didn't need to talk all the time to make a difference. When she did speak, people listened, and that was enough. Ruby walked over and gave her a thumbs up. Lucas smiled and said, "That's your sign." Tyler said, "I'm going to sit here tomorrow when I feel tired." Amira giggled again. It was still a quiet sound, but it was full of pride. Miss Penny gave her a little nod. "You helped us remember something important," she said. "Thank you for being brave." As the bell rang, Amira picked up her school bag. She walked to the door with her class. She didn't run or shout. She just walked calmly. But today, Amira felt tall. She felt strong. She felt proud. Because she knew. She may not shout, but when she speaks, it matters. And that is her kind of loud. Moral lesson. Sometimes the quietest voice has the most important things to say. Listening matters. Speaking up with kindness is powerful. Follow for more and subscribe for more stories.